Hello, and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor, and Riley has an existential crisis. This week, we'll be talking about the premiere episode of Survivor Season 47. But before we get into it, Riley, how are you?
I'm doing so good. Maddie, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Guys, I am practicing.
Thanks for asking.
This is what I'm working on for Survivor 47. I'm practicing concise thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So leave your comments below. Also, this is us. You guys are seeing us post fame. Y'all,
our 5 minutes of fame.
what was that thing when we were? I feel like it was a meme when we were in high school, or it was like a TikTok maybe. It was the guy that was like, "I'm gonna blow up and act like I don't know nobody." Have you seen that video?
I don't remember that.
God, now I sound like a crazy person. Okay, I'll look it up. It'll be fine. How am I doing? Well, I wrote down what I wanted to talk about today. I am going to take note from one of my favorite podcasts, Emergency Intercom. At the end of every episode, they do Media of the Week. And I'm going to share my Media of the Week. Well, one thing, because I've been listening to an album a lot recently. A new album, I think it came out last week. Lux Noir London, a little bit of Drag Race tease. Lux Noir London is a queen that was on season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race. So Maddie will get there soon. No spoilers in the chat, everybody, because Maddie hasn't watched it yet. But this album is so good. It's so juicy. It's really short. It's like 30 minutes, maybe a little longer than 30. I think it might be a little shorter than 30, but it's so good. It's very club. Like, it's still giving Brat Summer-esque. And it's giving like Lady Gaga a little bit. It's just so fun. Like, and the lyrics are good. Like, it's fun. Like, sometimes I'll say some of the Drag Race girls are good singers, but sometimes I don't love their lyricism. Sometimes I'm like, okay, but I'm really into this album. It's called Light in the Dark. Quite sure it's only 26 minutes, 10 songs. One of them is just like a 20-second opener. It's like just like singing, but great. My favorite tracks on the album are Let It All Hang Out, which was a single. I love that song. But my favorite non-singles, Light in the Dark, which is the titular song. Ave Narcissa, favorite. I thought that was a real thing. I was like, what is this Ave Narcissa? I fully made up for the song. It's not a real thing. But the song is so good. And then the final song, the closer, Don't Tell Me How to Drive. I don't know why she sounds ethereal on this song. I'm like actually obsessed with it to the point where I was like, I could get a tattoo for this song. It just is giving me I don't know why. Like, I feel like I'm rising above everything when I listen to it. So, that's my vibe. Everybody go listen to the album. It's so good. And this is sidetrack just to comment, because that was so concise. Good job, everybody. Can I get a round of applause? I think what usually hurts me is that I don't often pre-think about what I'm going to talk about. It usually happens mid us doing the intro, which leads to sort of tangents. I often comment on TikToks. This is 180 real quick, and I just have to complain about it in public because I need people to know how famous I am. That I comment on TikToks that go viral, like by comments. What?
I haven't addressed this before, but I will say on a lot of TikTok, not a lot, but it does happen sometimes where like I will get videos on my For You page that you have commented on, and so then because we are friends on TikTok, you're the top comment for me, and it's always funny.
Okay. I don't know what that is implying.
Well, just like I see your comments is what I'm saying.
I don't have anything to hide. I don't know why I'm acting kosher about this, girl.
Yeah.
The videos that I be reposting are crazy, y'all. I be reposting basically thirst traps consistently. I love reposting and edit. Anyway,
wait, these aren't even reposts though. Like,
no, I know what you're talking about. Like
organic.
comments that I just comment on.
Yeah.
But I have a couple. When I say viral, this one has 763 likes, and I hate 763. And then I have one that where's the other one? I have one that 118. That's not as much, but and then this one has 162. But I hate I'm like, can these videos die? Like, die down. Like, why am I consistently getting this video that the one that I have like 700 on was posted a while ago, and I'm like, okay, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I hate opening it up and seeing. I hate having notifications on TikTok, and it's always. I'm just so popular and so funny, you guys.
You are.
But that's my concise TED Talk. Maddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking, and thank you. Yeah, you were almost keeping it under 5 minutes.
That was the goal.
That was the goal. We are at about 7, but that is progress.
But
so.
well, 7 recording.
Oh, that's true.
And we took like a minute or two to start.
No, you're so right.
And you did your intro.
You're so right. Okay, no,
So.
you're on it. Anyways, I'm so good. I also wanted to talk about media this week because I'm just currently at a time where I have so much to watch. Like almost every day, I have something I could be watching. So I just wanted to quickly shout out a few things, new things, and then one show that is in between seasons right now that I recently got caught up on. But right now, not only is Survivor out, only Murders in the Building, which we've already talked about, but also Real Housewives of Salt Lake City also came out, premiered last night. I have not watched it yet because I was busy watching Survivor. But then another thing, yes.
You should wait and we should watch the premiere together.
Oh, Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, done.
And then you can give me all your little side comments or like I do when we watch Drag Race.
Okay, I'm so excited about that. But the show that I've been like absolutely obsessed with and is taking up way too much space in my brain right now is Yellow Jackets. Have you watched it?
I have not. What streaming platform is that on?
It's on Paramount.
Okay, no, I haven't watched it, but I've heard great things about it.
I started it this past weekend when I was like, I kind of want a movie or like something spooky to watch. And then Yellow Jackets was like one of the things recommended to me. And I was like, no, I actually really need to watch this. Are you familiar with the premise?
There's like a plane accident, plane crash.
So it's...
it's a girl. It's a soccer team. It's a girl soccer team.
It is a girl soccer team on their way to nationals in 1996. Their plane crashes in the Canadian wilderness, and they're stranded there. So the show kind of goes back and forth between present day and then flashbacks to them living in the wilderness.
Are you caught up?
No,
Okay.
I just watched the season finale of season 1.
Okay. I have seen a clip of it because like I was just talking about, I'd be reposting edits all the time. Like I consistently repost edits. I love a good edit. And I've seen a couple Yellow Jacket, plural, or jackets, plural, one jacket.
Yellow Jackets is the team.
Plural. Okay.
So Yellow Jacket singular for each person.
Well, but like it's the show. Is the show plural?
Is Yellow Jackets.
Jackets.
Yeah,
okay.
plural.
I saw Yellow Jackets edits. And there was one with a crazy scene, and I actually got emotional. It's like I have no idea who any of these characters are. Okay,
but that's also part of it. Is like it is fully taking over my life, like emotionally and everything. I even have been. I think I actually need to like dial it in a little bit because it is like really scary sometimes, or just like really. It's not scary. It's more just like creepy and like gross, I guess. And I like had a nightmare about it the other night. Like it is really deeply affecting me, but it is so good. And I think I don't know if they're currently filming or they just wrapped filming for season 3, but it's been long awaited because it got put on pause with all the writer's strikes and everything. Yeah. Anyways, I'm so into it. But I just need to like get through it so then I can watch it at a normal speed and not be like watching multiple episodes in a sitting because that's it's so much. So, anyways, but I highly recommend it for anyone looking for a good little spooky fall show. Yeah.
I need to get into scripted TV, guys.
You should watch Yellow Jackets.
I'm finishing up. I've pretty much caught up on all my podcasts because I have Patreon for 3 podcasts, and I'm like, if I don't listen to every single one of these, I'm wasting my money. And I was a little over podcasts throughout the summer, and then I was like, fuck, I have to I was like, oh my god, I have to go back and listen through all of them so I can get my money's worth. But I'm finally catching up on that. The problem is Big Brother is airing right now, so every time I like catch up on my podcasts, I have to catch up on Big Brother, and then I catch up on Big Brother. I'm like, oh, I'm a little behind on podcasts. So that's sort of like the game I'm playing back and forth right now. But I'm going to get into scripted TV. I think once Big Brother season wraps up, I'm gonna, because I need to finish The Bear. I need to catch up on the most recent season. I have not watched any of Abbott, the most recent season of Abbott. Yeah. I'm like behind on all my scripted TV. So we'll see.
Well, this is not a scripted TV show podcast. This is a Survivor podcast. So shall we get into it?
Can we do just quick? I want speed fire, like couple word thoughts on this premiere.
I liked it, question mark.
That's how I felt too. I was like, I was watching, I was like, I don't hate it. But I was like, there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on.
Can I just say at the top, I'm so glad I didn't pick John as my winner pick.
Go back, everybody watch last episode. I said he is either going first or he is going to win.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Well, no, it wasn't awesome because I was actually really bummed about it.
And I'm really interested. We'll get into John. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's get into the episode. Yeah.
Okay. So we open on the boat bringing all the castaways to the island and get to hear little bits from everyone. I didn't really take notes on that because...
Well, luckily I did. Sam... Guys, there was a little miscommunication. So we got double the notes this episode. Sam gave the first confessional. I think it's always an exciting thing to note, like who's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Sam was the first on his tribe. Asia was the first on her tribe, and Kyle was the first on his tribe. It was like his only confessional he got this episode, though. I was waiting. I was like, oh, he's getting his first confessional. And we literally heard nothing else from him this episode.
Yeah. Well, we have 3 tribes. Nothing new here. Okay. Anyways, we have the blue tribe. They're called Tuku. Red is called Lavo, and yellow is Gata.
Tuku, I would think too similar to Tukus. They kept saying Tuku, Tuku, Tuku. I'm like, that's butt, babe. You're talking about butt stuff.
Yeah, I also had a hard time understanding them at first. I thought they said Laba, and Gata is a little too close to Gato. Cat. Yeah.
Can we talk real quick during this did you have other thoughts about this beginning part?
Well,
the marooning?
I just had a little bit more just basic info. This is going to be really interesting.
This is going to be really interesting. God. Okay, I'm taking a step back because you were the one that's supposed to take notes. I'm just going to sit and listen like I'm supposed to.
How about I just do my little overview and then you jump in. We'll just wrap up my thoughts. Continue with you.
Right.
Okay.
Should I just close my notes? I'm just going to close my notes.
No. Keep them open.
Okay.
Jeff gives us the usual rundown on making a community and basically how the game works, as if I wasn't aware. But, maybe this is some people's first time watching this season.
And some people might not be watching the episode at all. They might just be listening to our podcast.
So true. And then we hear from folks just like a little bit about who they are. The only main comment I picked up was Teeny seemed a little bit self-conscious about the scarecrow pants.
And I love that Jeff had to clarify. Jeff said, we did not put you in those pants. Survivor has gone through enough scandals in the past about clothing. Jeff wanted it to be known that they did not.
Teeny brought the pants.
Teeny brought the pants.
Okay, but putting the pants with that shirt is a little bit crazy. I will say.
Teeny put it together.
Yeah. Allegedly.
And then you can't be self-conscious. Teeny's so me-coded. They are me-coded.
Yes.
This episode, I was like, Teeny is me.
What were your thoughts?
My thoughts are, there's such a weird, throughout this whole episode, this through line, and this will be the word, because I feel like there's always like a word every season. Remember in 42, it was about, was it 42 or 41? 41, it was about the monster. The monster that is the game, blah, blah, blah. There's always like this thing. Community was brought up so many times this episode. Did you pick up on this?
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about the community at camp, the community of the cast, the community in this game. Excuse me. Jeff was talking. I'm getting really choked up talking. Jeff was talking over and over again about asking questions about community, and I was like, this is so strange because I don't know if community is often the word that is used to describe like people in groups on Survivor.
No, I feel like in the past they've always been like you're forming a new society or like
Yes.
a social experiment type thing, not like this is a community. Speaking of woke, Jeff. Anyways, then Jeff tells everyone to follow him down the beach into the first challenge. He said, "Follow me, guys."
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Two other things from the marooning. We're starting our Andy is unpopular our storyline.
Yes.
And should we get in this
That's
later?
The through line of the episode.
That is the truth through line. Should we get more into Andy later, or should I bring up my Andy thoughts? Okay, Andy later. John, I have not engaged with John a lot, and I he is so good with his words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's literally his job. I'm like, okay, literally that's his job. And I'm like, wow, you can see it. Like, you can always tell. Like, that's the thing with, like, I have this one professor in college, and she's a writer. And, like, you can just tell. Like, writers have a way. I'm like, the way you specifically choose your words is so interesting and so engaging. When Jeff asks John has such a weird name.
Speak on that. I've got a few Johns in my family. Just a couple.
A handful. I think John is a weird name for John Lovett. Is that his last name?
Yeah.
John Lovett.
I feel like a John.
It's just John by itself. I feel like when most people refer to him, again, I don't know him really in any other context other than Survivor. When most people refer to him, it's by John Lovett. It's like, we're welcoming John Lovett. It's never welcome John. Like, John is strange. By somebody that is usually referenced by their first and last name. I think that is what kept getting me this episode. I was like, I feel like I'm being disrespectful just calling you John. Like, I feel like
I feel like the difference between a Jon versus a John.
Yeah.
He's a Jon.
Yeah. But I think with John, he said, I was listening to him talk, and I was like, wow, that actually got me, that was emotional. He said, they're all testing. Everybody is a survivor. We're all playing because we want to test, or we want to, like, see how we'll play, but, like, that is going to be juxtaposed to the reality of how we're actually going to play. And then he was like, if you're cocky, that's a great feeling. But if you're not, it's really scary. And I was like, that's such a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Too bad we're not going to get much more.
I know. I'm so sad. Okay. After they follow Jeff to the challenge, basically this challenge is... Well, first of all, they're in awe of how grand this challenge is.
Mm-hmm.
But basically they have to crawl under this muddy net, retrieve a giant puzzle piece, and then solve a big puzzle with the pieces. And they go in sets of 2 from each tribe. And the winner gets basic supplies. A pot, machete, and flint. Yeah. It was just your classic Survivor challenge.
It was. I always get scared, though, every first challenge when they have to dive into that muddy net. It freaks me out every time people dive in. Like, TK, dove into it, and I was like, he's going to hit his head. He's going to hit his forehead. I was actually panicking.
Did you notice? I think it was Sue absolutely tried her best to not lay down. Like, she walked into it and was like holding up the net. It was like, no.
Sue beasted through the second part of that challenge, though. I was like, no shade.
Yeah,
why is she carrying?
Yeah. Well, the Yellow Gada tribe is
got
him. They were they were behind for most of it, but they really made up for it in the puzzle portion, which was really impressive. So they got the supplies. And then Jeff tells the losing tribes that they have to make a blind choice to send one person to have the opportunity to get their supplies. And Asia from Labo and TK from Tuku, that's crazy. They go.
The Tiku tribe did rock, paper, scissors, and they were supposed to, well, not even rock, paper, scissors. They were supposed to pick rock or scissors.
Mm-hmm.
And TK picked paper. And Tiana was like, girl, we were supposed to pick rock or scissors, and you fully picked paper. um, which was funny. And so it was kind of like randomized who went, but then like Asia turned around. Like it wasn't. There was a weird narrative. Okay, and I didn't write down who was on each tribe. I fully guys.
I didn't either.
Flash. If you didn't watch last episode, Maddie's winner pick was
Keyshawn.
My winner pick was Genevieve, and Genevieve got. I think neither of our people got much screen time. Mine definitely less than yours. It got to the point halfway through the immunity challenge started, and I went, "Wait, what tribe is Genevieve on?" I was like, and I knew that was. I said that too before I did my pick. I said, "This is a random wild card pick that I'm just gonna throw out."
I'm a little bit bummed that they're on the same tribe. I'm gonna be honest.
I am a little too, and then I'm obviously rooting for Asia to win anything. I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah.
I'm just as a fan of Rob Has a Podcast, our peer, our colleague.
Yes.
So I just want her to do well. And I was like,
I'm
oh my
really
god, wait,
rooting for that red tribe.
they're all on that red tribe.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? And, okay, anyway, sorry, this is getting sidetracked. What were we talking about? We were talking about, why did that come up?
Asia deciding to go.
Asia deciding to go. There was a narrative. I think it was from Genevieve. It was Genevieve, Asia. Who's the other? Oh, Teeny. I think it was Genevieve was like, Asia wanted to go. Somebody was like, Asia wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the vibe that I got. I got the vibe that nobody wanted to go, and Asia kind of was just like, if nobody wants to go, I'll go. But it wasn't like, we've definitely seen people in the past who were dying to go. Me. Yeah. And that's not the energy that I got from Asia.
No, it's just like, oh yeah, I'll do it.
If nobody else wants to do it, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's different than, please let me go, please let me go, please let me go.
Yeah. Well, we get to the Gada Beach. I don't like these tribe names.
I don't either.
My truth.
Lava is too close to lava. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's the red tribe, lava.
So we get to the yellow tribe beach, and they all hop in the water to wash the mud off, and they get to know each other. This is where we hear a little bit about John's work, and we get a math lesson from, I put Andy, the AI guy.
Nobody knows who John is.
No, which was so funny.
Oh, you know what was so funny to me? John said, I live in LA. Annika goes, in WeHo? That was a hate crime. That was homophobic. Borderline assault. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
What, you live in WeHo? Y'all, if I could say the F slur, I would have just said the F slur, but I'm sure that is not allowed on YouTube's guidelines, so I'm going to avoid saying that.
Thank you for not making me cut that out.
She basically... I have said it on this podcast before, and you had to cut it out.
And I have cut it out, yes.
Y'all, it's just so fun to say sometimes. Annika basically called him the F word. Which is crazy. I feel like it's crazy.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny that one person was like, yeah, I've heard of crooked media or
and then
whatever.
he was like, but have you listened to it? And he was like, right. He went, but have you ever listened to it? Right.
Yeah. Do you have any more comments on this portion?
On this tribe, and Andy with his numbers. Oh, and then there's a little, Andy was like, I just need to get close to 2 people. If I get close to 2 people, then statistically it's almost impossible to vote me out if I'm like this with 2 people. And so then him and John are walking, and he like starts to sort of like get his eyes on John. And I also love their conversation where, not unprompted, Andy goes, I'm bi.
And John's like, and what about it? Why?
And John was like, I'm gay. I was like, pot meat kettle. Like, wait, pot meat kettle was not the right phrase. What was I trying to say? Oh, what? No, pot meat kettle is not the word.
It's like a pot calling the kettle black.
That's not the phrase that I wanted to say, though. I wanted to say, the glass is see-through. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the closet is
see-through. That is what I wanted to say. Pot meat kettle.
Meat kettle.
Sorry. Oh, guys, I'm so silly. What I meant to say is the closet is see-through. You know, those 2 phrases so commonly get mixed up.
Anyways, we go to the Blue Tuku tribe, and they get started on the shelter, And Gabe says that he wants to work with someone older who isn't going to get messy with the drama. So he immediately wants to befriend Sue.
How do I... You looked at Sue and you said, this person's not going to be messy.
I'm curious, like, what about her?
Just because she's older? That's crazy to say. That's a crazy association to make. I feel like Sue is going to get messy this season.
Yeah. And I'm just going off first impressions.
Me too.
We have different compasses on that kind of thing.
Well, she definitely has a different compass.
She walks, but yeah, she doesn't believe in compasses.
I don't think she believes in science. Why do we make the exact same joke at the exact same time, y'all? This is crazy.
And then we also see Sue and Caroline. Caroline start forming an alliance as well. Because Caroline reminds Sue of her daughter.
Yeah. Caroline reminds Sue. Yeah, Caroline reminds Sue of her daughter. And Caroline also similarly just like wants to work with an old person, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, like what they would have finished Survivor 46 or Survivor 45. So maybe like Julie. Maybe they were like, we want a Julie type situation. But even then,
I don't think Sue is at all like that.
No. And also, they finished Survivor 45. Y'all saw Julie had a break in the middle of that season. Like, it got to the point where
Julie was not in it.
Julie was not in it.
Well, finally, we go over to the Lavo tribe, and they're also getting started on their shelter. We get to hear from my winner pick, Keyshawn, and he talks about being an ER doctor, and he loves the chaos, which is part of why I picked him. Teeny talks about wanting to play a good social game and basically be everyone's number one. And I was like, this tribe seems like it has a lot of cool people on it. I'm really excited about them, and I hope I hope they make it far, and that we don't have to see them turn on each other yet.
There's a good group of people. I would have loved to hear more from Genevieve, but I can't be picky. It is a little concerning to me that the only screen time she is getting is associating herself with Rome, and Rome is sort of making himself out to be
not everyone's
messy.
favorite.
I would say a little messy, messy man. But this seems like a fun group. I feel like there's nobody. I think this whole cast. Well, I think this cast is fun.
Yeah, I think they'll be fun.
I think unlike Survivor 46, where I was not vibing with really anybody in the beginning, like I'm liking this group of people so far.
I mean, we got an outburst on day 3, which we'll get to.
Oh, we'll get.
Which
to
actually that's the whole thing. Okay, we get to the challenge that TK and Asia have to complete. It's a running scavenger hunt for keys, and they're running against each other. So only one person will win, and they get to bring the supplies back to their tribe. Whoever gets the 4th key ends up winning.
This is how I know parasocial relationships are a real thing, because why did I feel like I was watching my actual friend, like somebody that I know on the screen? Never talked to her ever, obviously. Well,
I thought you meant TK.
When Asia and I, when we go to like the Survivor podcast conference, that we've chatted, and because we're peers, we're colleagues.
Yeah.
But I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my god, get that key, girl, get that key.
I was also really rooting for her.
It was,
and I'm like, girl, don't find the path. Just go to the water.
TK was so smart for that. Like, just run down the hill, girl.
Yeah.
It was a close. Do you want to explain what happened?
Yeah, basically, TK ends up in the water slightly before Asia, but then, and he's not seeing the little buoy.
I was like, it can't be. It was like bright orange in the blue water. Yeah.
But then he spotted it, and Asia was in the water at this point as well, and then she like, for a second was like, maybe I'll be physical about this, and then she's like, no, I'm not going to.
Okay, but that would have been so good. Imagine she like shoved him and grabbed that key. Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
The Asia was like ahead for a little bit of it too, but they both got stuck. They both got lost in the deep forest and couldn't find their way down. And TK's approach was just to like hustle his way down the hill and just throw himself. And Asia was desperately looking for the path.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I will say I actually really liked this little challenge much more than the ones we've seen in past seasons.
I liked that. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe you can answer with your thoughts. I don't know how I felt about the fact that one person was for sure not getting anything. Like, they couldn't even risk something for an advantage. Like, it was just like, you're not coming back with anything. I don't know how I felt about that specifically because the narrative of the past seasons have been you either bring something back or you have an advantage. And that wasn't even an option this season at this point. So I was like, oh, I feel like you're setting up the loser poorly. Like, that's already putting, not only because we've also seen people got to do challenges like this with other people on their tribe. So it's like, okay, they're not, in the past, they haven't been totally socially outcasting themselves, one. And two, even if they don't complete it, you're able to, like, I don't know, get an advantage or something. Like, there's a possibility you can earn another thing. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I loved that. But then I'm also like, I was not expecting, when I had that thought, I was not expecting how advantage heavy the edit for the next like 30 minutes of this episode were going to be. So I'm kind of happy that there was no other conversation about, like, there was nothing that early about advantages. It was just like getting supplies.
I liked that we didn't see someone absolutely physically wearing themselves out. Physically and mentally, frankly. Not, like, I don't know. I just feel like in the past, watching them try and do, like, the water thing or whatever, it's just, like, not fun. And just, like, a really bad way to start. So, I don't know. I liked this more than I liked that in a lot of ways, but I also hear what you're saying. But I think this also comes from a place of, like, I just watched Survivor China and loved that, you know, there were basically no advantages. And so along that theme, it was fun. But then seeing how it turns out later in the episode. Anyways, we'll get there. So we go to Gata, and Annika is very knowledgeable on sprouting coconuts. And
have you heard of a sprouted coconut before?
No.
I was trying to listen along. It was like it grows for a certain point and then they shake it and it's really creamy. And I was like, I don't fully understand what's happening.
Dessert moment. So she knows a lot about that. And then she also is kind of taking the lead on building the shelter. And then Sierra, the pageant queen turned nurse, gets their fire going.
Slay.
Yeah.
Sam talks about being the glue guy in the group. Always wanted around, and he needs to be there to keep everything together.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Well, then we go to Tuku, and
TK and Tuku.
TK gets back to Tuku, and he gets to camp with the supplies he won, and everyone is so happy. They're running up to him. They're really stoked about the supplies.
I like that word.
Stoked.
That was a good word.
Thank you. I also think that's a fun word. Caroline says that all the guys on the tribe are in love with each other and that there's a bromance going.
I'm really hoping that something starts coming from this. Like, I think it'll be, but I don't know. I feel like Sue and Tiana might side with the boys. Is low-key the vibe that I'm getting. So I'm like, ooh, I hope she maybe low-key keeps this to herself because I don't know if there's a lot of girl power in this group. Her. So, but it was an interesting thought. I'm hoping the editors are plotting something. Like, I would like to see where the storyline goes if something comes from it.
Yeah. Well, when working on the shelter and picking up a log with TK, Gabe spots a beware advantage that leads him to a box with instructions to get the idol. And he's, as per the usual, lost his vote until he gets the idol. But as Gabe is working on getting the key to the box that is like up on this rock ledge with vines, TK spots him. So Gabe tells TK that he saw the key, but he hasn't actually found the beware notice yet.
I feel like it was a low-key good cover-up. I don't think, obviously, we see that TK didn't really believe him, but I think in the moment, I was like, okay, at least you're on the right idea. Like, I like that you didn't instantly tell him that
you got the right idea, but the wrong.
I was like, okay, I can see what you're trying to do. But I was also, not to jump ahead, I feel like Rome had the right idea. It was like, I don't need to do this right now. That's what was stressing me out so much about all of this advantage stuff that was happening in the moment. I was like, why are we so concerned? You guys haven't even done your first immunity challenge yet. Like, why are we so concerned about this right in this moment? It has to be done right now is what was stressing me out. I was like, you can sit on it. If you found the beware advantage, nobody else is going to find it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be okay. It was really, I was getting really stressed out about it. I was like, we don't have to, we don't.
No.
You're still in the process of building your shelter.
Why don't you go just, like, meet your tribe mates and get to know them a little bit?
On a side note, during this, like, montage, I think it's really interesting. We've definitely seen this rock face.
A bunch of times.
A bunch of times. And it's really interesting now that we're, like, obviously... I guess it would be 5 years, a little over, maybe like 6 years. Probably they've been recording in Fiji. We're getting to the point where these camps are looking so similar. Like, I'm like, I have seen this spot before. I've like know what's going on. I basically, this is my second home, my home away from home.
Yeah. You would feel at home if you were there.
I think so.
I think so too. Well, we move on.
What the hell did you mean by that?
You're just so ready to go on the game, play the game.
So true.
Enjoy the community. So we go to Lavo, and Asia gets to camp and tells her tribe about not getting the reward. They didn't seem too upset about it though.
Yeah, I'm glad that there was nobody that was like, I'm so concerned.
Yeah.
Because that would have really stressed me out. But we kind of had a 180 reaction.
Yeah. Like the actual opposite. They're like, it's okay. Teeny then pulls Asia aside and lets her know that they know who she is from the podcast and that Teeny is a Survivor superfan. Teeny is so you. Every single time Teeny opens their mouth, I'm like, that is Riley.
That is me. No, because I would have gone up to Asia and I'd be like, Asia, obsessed with you, doll. We need to work together because I cannot let you go home. I need to get my spot on Rob as a podcast when we get home, girl.
Yeah. Then, as they're working on the camp, everyone notices that Rome continues to go off and very obviously look for advantages. And he does find the beware advantage with the same clue to a box on a path. But, like why would you do this to yourself?
I also don't know. And I don't know if you clocked this, but I think it was interesting because in past seasons, in recently past obviously recent, I don't know why I preface that. In past seasons, with Carla specifically in Survivor 43, there was a moment where she finds the beware advantage and then she takes it, reads it, or I don't know if she reads it, but she puts the clue back. Mm-hmm. And I think it's happened a couple other times, but Gabe at one point or Rome at one point specifically notes her like, now that I've opened it and read it, I have to do it. Yeah. And I don't know if that was a distinction that's occurred in the past. I'm not 100% positive. I like the box.
I like the box too.
It was really, and for those who don't watch the episode, it was like, wait, did you already explain it?
I don't. The
box itself? No,
I didn't. Well, I kind of got more into it in a bit.
We can get into it. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead. But no, okay. There was also really intense music playing while Rome was finding. I was like, it was kind of intense. It was low-key intense. Yeah. Have you ever... Do you think you can wear something pink and intense?
What?
Do you think you can wear something pink and intense? Not the boy worms.
Your facial expressions.
I'll have to show you the video after.
Okay.
Wait, I was going to look something up earlier. What was I going to look up?
I don't know. I'll keep going.
Yeah, you keep going. I'll think.
We go to Gata, and John is coming to terms with being old and connecting with the youth over Vine and TikTok.
John's not that old.
No, but he was the oldest on his tribe.
Well, if I was on Survivor and he was like, I'm 41, I'm like, my stepmom's that age. You could be my parent.
Yeah, and
I think that would have freaked him out. But my stepmom and I are good friends. Like, we get along.
You know, one thing when I think of your stepmom pops in my head. Des Moines, Iowa. Every single time I see the word or I see the name Des Moines.
That happened a long time ago.
I know, but it was like it really affected me. I think about it every single
guys,
time I
preface,
see Des
quick
Moines.
story. We were doing a cross. We were in the living room. This is like during COVID, I believe, and we were just doing a family crossword as you do during COVID. And my stepmom, I think the question was simple, like, what's the capital of Iowa or something. It was like an easy crossword, and she goes, Des Moines. And I was like, what? Is she Des Moines, Iowa? And I went, it's Des Moines. And she was like, no, it's not. And I was like, no, you're pronouncing it like phonetically. Like, it's not, that's not how you say it. And she was like, oh. It was a learning moment for everybody.
Yeah. But I think about that a lot. So
I'll let her know. I'll see if she even remembers that. 41, anyways. She's getting really old.
Andy says that he wants to, quote, hitch his wagon to Rachel.
Ew.
Which I hated.
Okay. We'll get into it. Once nighttime, I want to get into this.
Yes.
I really want to start talking about it once we get nighttime.
Yes. So they go off and talk, and Rachel's like, he's really sweet, but he is not strategic at all, and she's really uncomfortable with going off to talk alone with him because she doesn't want to isolate herself or like she doesn't want to hitch herself to his wagon. So then we get to the night. Andy is having trouble sleeping and wants to talk about his feelings with Rachel, which she is really not having because she doesn't like how suspicious it makes things look when they go off and talk, and like she would just rather not at the moment. And this really upsets Andy.
Okay. There's something, and I would like to preface this. Maddie was so negative last episode, you guys don't even understand. Maddie and I would like to preface that anything we say about any person, this is me specifically talking because I want to say some things, that we don't know these people. This is all just characters on a TV show. Fully acknowledge that. I am not one.
Who are real people as well.
Who are real people.
How they're being portrayed.
They're being portrayed as characters on a TV show. They're being produced. I know nothing about these people in real life. I'll probably never meet Andy ever. And that's that. Like, I'm talking about his character on the TV show. Not his character as a person, but the character that is being produced on Survivor 47.
Just like when we were talking about him negatively last episode. It was mostly because
mostly AI. Maddie talked negatively.
Well, we both went in on AI.
AI and Andy are two separate things.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
Exactly, that's what you're saying.
But I will continue to call him AI Andy.
I want to say that the vibes are off. There were multiple times I watched this episode, obviously cringed, so we'll get more into the immunity challenge at the immunity challenge. Cringed at that. I had to cover my ears. I was watching so bad. And I'll bring up my thought. But there's multiple thoughts where I was like, is Andy putting on a show?
This is who was worried about being aligned with people that are just trying to be characters on the show.
I was
this is who you need to worry about.
This is who you need to worry about, because I was watching him and I was like, I hate to say this, I don't think he's being fully authentic. Mm-hmm. Why, like, I don't know, maybe you were trying to have, like, a Kenzie and Ben moment, I don't know, but I was like, this just feels weird. It's night 1, night 2, you don't really know Rachel. Like, I think it's weird for him to have gotten up and been like, I need to talk to Rachel specifically, because even then, I'm like, but then it felt like he was trying to use this moment as a way to build trust with Rachel. Like, he was like, I'm choosing to confide in you. And she was like, I don't want that. Like, this is not, our relationship is a two-way street. Like, it's not, if it has to be equal, right? Like, we put equal effort, whatever. And again, not to jump totally forward, but this is how I felt when he passed out, and I hate to put it in quotations, at the immunity challenge. I was fully watching this, and I went, is he faking it? Because he got on the ground, and he was like, they were going to vote me out to Jeff. They were gonna vote me, and this might just be the inner conspiracist in me, the inner reality TV fan. Like we've seen people do dirtier things on Survivor. We just watched Survivor China, where they thought Todd's sister having a miscarriage was fake. Okay, I was like, is he doing this to gather or to obtain sympathy from people? Is the vibe I got?
He lost it.
No, he lost the sympathy, obviously, but in that moment, he was talking to Jeff, and she was like, Jeff, I was going to go home. I was going to go. And Jeff was like, okay. And I was like, is he doing this to gain sympathy? It was just weird. Something feels, and again, I'm not calling Andy this. I don't have a better word to describe it, so I'm just going to say this word. It feels a little, like he was like.
Oh my God, I don't know if I can keep that.
Oh my God. Okay, scratch that. Sorry, y'all. The word I used was not appropriate, so I'm using a different word. Feel like Andy is the type of he was the type of person in high school. Again, I don't know him in high school. Andy, this is nothing personal. I'm just getting your character. I feel like he was the type of person in high school to be like, people don't like me. But really, it wasn't because he was like a nerd. It was because he had like a bad attitude. And people were like, he was that type of person. And he put the blame on other people. He was like, people don't like me. Andy, it's...
And when it's like, you're not really trying to... be a good friend to other people.
Exactly.
And you like the way you talk to other people doesn't necessarily make them want to be close to you.
That's what I got I was like, it's the way he's talking to people. It's this whole situation with Rachel. Why do you think Rachel owes you her allyship and her friendship? You guys have known each other for 2 days. Yeah. You don't even I don't, and I think it's because he went into numerical. Like he was like, I just need I need two allies. I need 2 allies. I'm just gonna get 2 allies. But that's not how Survivor works. Like not everybody's gonna be around your whim.
Yeah, and like, I just think it was really unfair to Rachel to put her in the middle of this.
Yes,
and. I think maybe it would have been so different if he had just opened up to his other tribe mates and been like, hey, I'm just feeling like really anxious right now. Like, is anyone else having a hard time? Like, try and connect with people over it instead of like,
that would have went
kind of like overdoing it and like, overwhelmed. Like, I would be overwhelmed if I were Rachel and this is like night 2. And
like, I don't know who you are at all, and you're confiding in me right now.
Yeah, and be like, I actually don't know if I'm emotionally in the space to be there for you at the moment.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
For him to assume that she could take all that on.
Yeah. And exactly. John is also feeling very weary of working with Andy because it's so obvious just like how anxious and kind of erratic he is at this point, which it only gets worse. So John was on to something there. Okay, then we go to Tuku. Gabe is working on getting the key to the immunity box, and he starts slamming the driftwood to find the key where it's hidden.
Crazy.
Not very demure or very mindful.
Or cutesy, babe.
Or cutesy.
When everybody wakes up, why is this driftwood shattered all over the beach?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that before.
Was that what the banging was at 3 a.m. this morning?
But he does find the key, so he can continue. And, okay, so then, at this point, he gets the 3 tribal immunity idol. But he learns that he has the opportunity to complete another task and keep that idol active till Final 5, where he's able to use it. But he decides to settle for the 3 tribal immunity. But would you have done that or no?
I feel like that's smart.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. So I wrote a note that I was like, why is he worrying about this right now? And then because it was the process of him getting the 1 immunity, and then he was like, I have to go for the 3. And I was like, why are we worrying about this right now? You haven't even gone yet, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized as he went from the 3 to the Final 5 one, that it was like, you have to decide in this moment whether or not you're going to do it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I think 3 is fine. Because the odds are there is going to be another idol or some sort of advantage come the merge. And there's, I mean, knock on wood that they're not going to be the tribe. Like, unless you're that one tribe the past Four Seasons that loses every pre-merge challenge. Like, you just hope you're not on that one.
Yeah.
But really, the odds are you're probably not going to go to 3 pre-merge tribal councils. So that could at least cover the mergatory vote, possibly. So I think 3 is fine.
And I think it's kind of a good idea to just chill out on all of that and be able to focus on, like, building your relationships.
Yeah, especially in this early point of the game.
Yes, having this, like, looming no vote stress you out.
Yeah.
So, next, we go to Lavo. And Rome is continuing on his Beware Advantage journey. Not very demure or mindful.
The girls were not mindful, demure, or cutesy this episode. I was watching this, and I was like, this is wild. I haven't seen an idol hunt like this in a minute.
No. So Asia catches him looking, and obviously goes and tells everyone.
That is I was so happy it was her too, because what a good thing to go. You miss the first couple hours of your tribe, but, like, they can trust you. You can go up to them and say, this is happening. And, like,
yeah.
Ugh.
And everyone's on your side right now.
Exactly.
So they all go looking for him, and Rome then finds the clue, and he learns that it's in the well at the bottom. So he goes head first into the well,
which was crazy.
Full
I wrote
body.
In caps. I wrote, he is in the well. Goodbye. And I was cracking up watching him go in the well. Mind you, the scoop is right next to him.
He is fully legs in the air.
I was like, I thought he was going to fall into the well. I was like, how are they going to get him out? If he falls in, how are they going to get him out?
Luckily, it looks like the well isn't as deep as I thought it would be.
No, I don't think so. But, like, imagine like, that could have been really scary. Like, imagine he slips in, but then it's okay. No,
bonk.
Imagine the well is like 3 feet, like, height, and then, like, the ground, the water is like 2 feet. So that's like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Rome is probably. He looks a little. Anyway, 5 feet, but, like, 3 of those feet, your legs are in. Like, that is
Yeah.
like, I would start panicking. Anyway.
Well, he finds the key, and the group sees that he was digging in the well.
He comes out. His hair is wet,
His
like he was
whole,
dripping water.
Half of his body. So
I know that man did not just dip his dirty body into the well water.
I know. I think he even said that. He's like, I'm sorry that everyone has to drink out of this. Which Survivor is dirty for doing that. Yeah. So
that was so unserious.
yeah, but everyone basically agrees that man is on the chopping block if we're going to tribal.
No.
Well, let's get to the immunity challenge, shall we?
Wow.
So, basically, they start out on the water. They have to go in a boat and collect these big chests. And then you bring all the chests onto the water and complete a puzzle. Classic Survivor stuff here. The winners get tool builder kits, and the losing tribe gets a date with Jeff at tribal council, and they lose their flint. So as we get going, Tuku and Gata completely flip their boats, lose their paddles, the chests are everywhere.
Okay, straight out of a cartoon.
Yeah.
The boats flip over for the Gata tribe, the oars start floating away, and I was like, this is insane.
It was a bit of chaos. It was really interesting. So after that, the challenge is very simple. So Lava, being the only tribe that actually stayed afloat, they do make it to the beach first and win immunity and the bigger reward kit.
They don't even show them completing the puzzle. Like, their lead was so big that it gets to them starting the puzzle, it cuts to the people back in the water, cuts back to them, and it's Jeff going, "You're done.
You're done.
You finished." Didn't show the audience them putting together the puzzle at all.
No. So as Gata starts working on their puzzle, this is where Andy takes a step back and he goes and lays down.
He wanted to take a nap.
He wanted to take a little siesta. So Jeff then calls medical over. say, like, what is wrong with this man?
No, my favorite is Jeff. I just saw the clip today. I didn't even realize this when I was watching it. But right before Andy, like, lays down, Jeff is making puns on the Gata tribe name. And he was like, I'll say it. They gotta keep going. They gotta work hard. He turns around. Andy's on the floor. He points out. He goes, are you okay? I was like, what is going on?
Well, yeah. So, basically, he's fine. I mean, they check on him. Medical goes and checks on him. And he's just like, they're gonna vote me out. I gave it my all. I gave it everything I had. And, yeah.
The TikTok audio. There's a TikTok audio I'm thinking about that I feel like goes really great with the situation.
Well, Tuku finishes. So they send Gata to tribal council. And Andy is really going through it mentally. So he's, once again, what he told Jeff, he gave it his all, and his tribe is going to vote him out tonight. Then Andy emerges from the trees, and he goes over to the mat, and he says that he overheated. No one on his tribe likes him. His closest person is John, but he's going to throw him under the bus to stay tonight, and has a little bit of an outburst, temper tantrum, which I thought was funny, not funny. So, like, I think a really strong comparison to make here, it's like Liz's outburst, which was funny. Like, I know she was really going through it in that moment, but, like, you can't watch that and, like, not think it's at least slightly entertaining. This was just, like, not funny cringe and, like, hard to watch. You know what I mean?
No, it was severely hard. I don't know the last time. I don't think I cringed this hard last season watching Bono do Bono things. Like, no. I was like, I don't know the last time I cringed this hard watching Survivor. I had to I was like, obviously I have to keep watching because I have to watch through this episode. Fully, I was sitting, my TV was on, I was sitting like this. I was holding my face
you were
like
giving
this,
Bono.
and my eyes were covered up. I was like, stop. I was watching it. I was only watching it, so I was like, I have to watch this. If I didn't have to watch it, I would have skipped through it. I was like, oh my god.
You are giving Bono right now down.
Please, Stephanie, please save me.
So, yeah, I think it's also interesting in this moment because it is in front of everyone. Where Liz's meltdown, there weren't that many people left. Bono's was in front of his own tribe. This was basically everyone's first impression of him, is that he's throwing his tribe into the bus, he's lashing out because he feels like he's on the bottom, and why would you trust him if he's gonna blow up like this?
Wait, I think I found... This is the audio.
So I'm panicking. Don't panic. No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job. Was you panicking when you was here to meet the child?
Oh!
So
Wait, what did it say? Well, I've never heard the end part.
Why are you panicking when you was here to meet a child? This is a pedophile. The audio is this man is a pedophile. He got caught. That's what this audio is. No, I'm panicking.
Don't panic. No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job. Was you panicking when you was here to meet the child?
You wasn't panicking when you was here to meet the child.
Oh my god.
It was one of the... It's like a... What's that show? To Catch a Predator.
I don't know.
To Catch a Predator.
Okay.
That's like a thing. Have you... A conversation for another podcast. Keep that in. It was so interesting. That's the TikTok I was thinking about. That Andy, I'm going to lose my job. Jeff, why are you panicking? I've never seen something like that. I don't think there's like cringy moments like Survivor, but that was like a weird, like a whole new level. Like it was that, I think what was the worst part is that it was in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, first impressions, Like, what a terrible way to start.
Yeah. You know, though, Emily had a rough start, and she really turned it around.
But
Did we
Emily
think
wasn't
Andy...
cringe. Emily was
No,
just
it was
mean.
mean.
It was just mean.
Yeah.
I don't... Okay, we'll get into it.
Andy said it. Try not to cringe challenge.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
So, we go back to camp. And they have no more flight as well.
No, you know that boat ride was silent. Y'all know, nobody was even looking at each other. You know, they were sitting in that boat going back. They were all looking at the ocean like.
If I was on that boat, I think I would be trying so hard to not laugh. Like, girl, what was that?
Like, Andy sitting next to me, I would have been like.
Okay.
No, imagine. No, I'm sorry. Keep rolling. Imagine we're back at camp. I'm me and Andy's there, and we're sitting in silence, and I go. So, does anybody want rice?
No, I was thinking, could you imagine you and I being on that tribe and the boat ride after I can just imagine, like, we give each other a look and it's game over. We're sobbing. Because, like, what else can you do in that moment?
Oh my god, like, imagine
Like,
you're in front.
laugh.
Okay, if anything, I feel like that is more bearable in a room full of 18 people, and then you go back to a room of 6 people.
Yeah.
Like, that would actually make me go crazy. If I was on their like, if I was Sam or who are the other people? Annika, like, if I was any of those people, like, something about going back to a group, like a smaller group, like, makes it worse for me, because I'm like, oh my god, I have to keep consistently dealing with this.
Or imagine the boat ride back for the other tribes. Guys, what was that?
They do
That
a
would be a
debrief
bonding
when they
moment.
do a debrief when they got back. Oh Lord.
Okay. Everyone is reacting to Andy's meltdown. Rachel says she hasn't seen someone melt down like that in front of people before. Just wait till she sees Liz. They haven't seen that season.
I know, they thought they ate. They thought they ate with Andy.
They
Y'all
thought
ain't
this
ready
was
for
the
Liz.
craziest. They thought
Y'all
this
ain't
was
ready
the
for rumored
craziest.
billionaire Liz. Liz Wilcox. Y'all are not ready.
Yeah. Andy explains his feelings. He says that he's not at 100% right now. He's at about 80. But everyone assures him they like him. And he's an asset to the tribe. But
Like
in
that-
confessionals, everyone is frustrated with him.
I could not. I think that would be my red flag in Survivor, is I could not play with anybody that needs constant reassurance.
No.
If I have an ally that needs me to constantly tell them that they're fine with me, like, I would lose it.
Yeah.
You need
no,
me
I
to
couldn't
consistently tell you that I like you. Girl, you are grown. We are grown. We are grown people playing a game.
do it. Yeah. We are, at the end of the day, just playing a game.
We at the end of the day, this isn't real. None of this is real.
You guys are just NPCs on my journey.
That AI Andy made. We're all living in an AI Andy simulation right now.
Ew. Okay. John in particular is feeling upset over being the one to get thrown under the bus, which valid. Because, like, why would you go for John? That felt so random.
Maybe
to
that's her
me.
BFF.
Yeah. You guys really opened up to each other.
I'm bi. I'm gay.
Okay. The girls told John that Andy is going to be the vote tonight. But they're going to tell Andy that it's John tonight, which John doesn't feel good about. And I think this might be where John takes a little bit of a turn.
I don't know if okay, so flashback to where I said I don't think I've cringed as much with John.
John
with
sabotaging
Andy.
his
I
game.
don't think I've seen somebody take a 180 as quick as John took a 180 this episode.
John, yeah. John heard his name get thrown out as a cover, which I understand that would be very stressful. Like,
Yes.
I hear that.
And I think it's a
but-
good instinct to have. Like, I think your first instinct to and him not being passive, just being like, okay, him being like, okay, this is making me a little like on edge. I think that was a good instinct to have in Survivor.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what he did with this was maybe not the way I would have done things.
So, John, those are going to go ahead and be your inside thoughts. Those are going to go ahead and be things that you sort of keep to the confessional, keep to yourself.
Yeah.
Not really put onto others.
Yeah. That, like, you don't really know that well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, John and Andy then start talking about this idea of getting Annika out. And then they decide, we've got to bring this idea to Sam. Because Sam's got to get Sierra on board with this. But
it's really just two dumb girls telling each other, exactly. That is John and Andy.
They're like, no, this is right.
This is exactly what we're supposed to be doing right now. Exactly.
This upsets Sam and immediately puts the target on John when Sam brings this to the girls. And then this brings up, you know what? Let's get John out. Because right now, it's keeping John, and getting rid of Andy and his potential future outburst versus keeping Andy for his strength and challenges. Which I don't really agree with because he did just kind of like
flop.
Yeah.
I don't think that first challenge was a great example of who would be good in challenges.
I agree. And, like, who's to say that John isn't?
Right.
But we go to Tribal. It's giving Indiana Jones.
I thought that there would be a more overall spooky vibe this season because of the bats in the logo.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt about the Tribal set. There's also no ceiling. Did I miss that? Is there no ceiling? I always have to do research for this damn podcast. Like, we can never just be on the same page about something.
Oh my god. I thought it kind of reminded me of Indiana Jones. Like, specifically the first
with the Rebel.
movie and, like, the ride a little.
I don't think I love the ride.
I also love the ride. Well, while Riley's, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
They dip their little torches in and get fire, and then they start by talking about camp life in the first few days. Andy gets to talk a little bit more about his outburst and his feelings at camp and kind of how everyone else views the situation and the potential future of working with Andy. That's all the notes I took for this. So have you wrapped up your investigation?
Hold on, I'm trying to see if there's pictures of...
Yeah.
Wait, what is going on? There's like... God, like, reality TV fans cannot just be normal. Like, what is going on? Why do you have to... Stop. Okay, I did not find a picture of Tribal Council. I did find a picture of Andy laying on the ground.
Okay. Well, we'll circle back to this next week.
Yeah, let's pay attention next week. I didn't feel like there was a ceiling. I don't know. Anyway, that was sort of all my thoughts.
I thought there usually isn't a, ceiling.
There was definitely one last season.
Over everything?
Yeah, remember? It was like, they were giving very Asiana core last season.
I feel like I remember...
It was like
little partial, overhangs. But I don't think I remember a full ceiling.
Well, I can't find it, so we'll just have to pay attention. Usually, Entertainment Weekly or
We'll post about it. Well, anyways, John gets voted out first over AI Andy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Okay, what I was going to say at the beginning of the what do you say?
So upsetting. Imagine the guy that has that outburst and gets that reaction out of everyone, but you managed to make everyone want you out more.
I'm so excited to see the reaction of when everybody sees that Andy is in fact the one that stayed in the game.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that they put John was in a lot of the preseason press, a lot in the
Yeah.
preseason trailers. John took up a lot of the space in the preseason agenda. And so I'm really interested to see who's going to become the standout characters this season. I did so I think this season I'm going to try. I don't know how, I feel like I always say I'm going to try to do something and it never works out. I want to do power rankings, just like my top 3, current, and then I can sort of track along through the season and see winner picks possibilities. Usually in an Edgic situation, you usually pick your top 4, so I might sneak in a 4th, but my top 3, one person from each tribe. I have Sam from the Gata tribe. I felt like this was a really interesting episode for him. We got a lot of talk from him about his positionality in the tribe, which I think is a great thing to have on episode 1, to hear somebody talk about how they're positioning themselves. And he seems really likable in a good way. That doesn't make any sense.
He's for the girls.
He's for the girls, and the girls like him. I feel like that it was a good episode. I think I'd sneak Rachel into my top 4 as well. I felt like this was a good episode for Rachel. This is not somebody I feel like we paid much attention to in the preseason. Well, preseason was last week, but I didn't really think much about her. But this is she seemed really well surrounded. People were on Rachel's side, which I like. So I put Sam and Rachel in my top 2. I'd say Asia had a really good episode. I think there could have been room for her to flunder. Is that a word?
I'm
mixing up words.
I think.
Anyway. To fail. I'll just say fail. There could have been room
flop.
for flop.
I think that's flop and blunder.
I think that's what I did. There could have been room for Asia to really flop this episode in the position that she ended up in, but I think it worked well.
She came back strong.
Which is exciting. She had a lot of confessionals this episode, for a premiere episode, and she didn't go home. So I think that's always a good sign if you end up having a couple confessionals premiere and don't go. I think that's good. I think she's positioned well. Teeny obviously really likes her, and I think she gained trust with her tribe and her anti-Rome sentiment. And then I also liked and I wrote this name down, and I'm I don't remember who this is, so I don't really know why I wrote their name down. On the blue tribe, I wrote Cassidy. I don't think that's a real person. Is Cassidy a person of the season?
I don't think so. Cassidy.
Did I mean Carol? Oh, I meant Caroline. So maybe I'm not too high on Caroline because I didn't remember her name when I wrote it down. But I liked that Caroline had some moments where she clocked other people this episode, which I liked. And she seems positioned well with Sue. So those are my top 4. And I think I'll try to do a little ranking because I like to see who...
Yeah.
Maybe the winner is in this top 4 right now, and then I'll have clocked it from the first episode. Wouldn't that be kind of iconic? Notice how Genevieve is not in my top 4. So I don't know
there's
how great...
room. There's time. Give her time.
There is time, and that I will. This was a great premiere episode.
This was a great premiere episode.
I'm excited for this season. I love Survivor.
I also love Survivor, and I'm so glad we're doing this podcast.
Slay.
Yeah. How exciting. Yeah, I'm happy. Well, thank you for watching this episode of the Making Fire podcast. We are so glad to have you here. We're having so much fun. And in the meantime, before our next episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Making Fire Pod. And we'll catch you next time.
Not the boar worms. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Bye.
Smooches.